How exciting! We're live. Oh my goodness.
Hooray!
Can I say happy Friday the 13th? Depending
Yes.
on your look at that. I want to say hello to everybody and introduce. So, first one I see right there is Brandi. Hi, Brandi.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going.
Are you excited about Friday the 13th?
Well, of course. It's Friday the 13th.
Right. And I want to say hi to Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I am really good. And you have a really fun thing that you guys are going to be talking about tonight. So, a little bit later in the program. So, that's so exciting. Hi, Cara.
Hello.
How's it going?
It is going good.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. So, what we are doing is we're gathering together, but only four, not 13 of us, to talk about Friday the 13th. Some things about, I hear about the franchise Friday the 13th, and also about history. And I'm going to be talking about witches and Wiccans and Pagans. So, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Fun.
And I can't wait to start. And so I want to ask all the viewers to please share the show. We want so many people to come in. But before we start the Friday the 13th show, Kara's going to tell us about tomorrow. It's super special. Super special. I hope you've seen the little teaser on it. So, Kara, what's happening tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, in honor of my dad's Norwegian heritage. By the way, people, my dad was only technically the second generation born here in the United States. My dad's family is from Norway. So 17th of May is 17. Mai, which is Norwegian Constitution Day. Huge holiday, just like the 4th of July here. So we're going to have an international guest who's going to tell us about legends and myths and ghosts and the paranormal all throughout Norway.
Very cool.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
She's getting all the way from Norway and she's staying up to what, 3 a.m.?
Good morning. God bless
She's
her.
going to be on with us and tell us all these great things. And even when I was looking at some Wiccan things, I was and Friday the 13th, so many things were steeped in saying Norse, and the Scandinavian countries and everything. So I thought that was really interesting. So what we're going to do, Cara, you have a story to tell.
I do. I mean, it's not a long thing, but it's steeped in my Norwegian heritage. As many people know, before Christianity was brought to Norway, they had their Nordic gods, their Norse gods. And one of the myths tells the story of the 12 gods gathering for dinner, but not inviting a 13th god. His name was Loki. Loki found out about the party, obviously, and he walked in uninvited. And he was mischievous and quite a stinker. He was a trickster. He took his bow and arrow and actually shot another god by the name of Balder, which was Balder the Beautiful. And that he was a god who represented joy and gladness and things like that. Balder didn't make it; he died. He actually, so everything was brought to darkness and everything. So it was everyone the mourning and that they had around the world or around their world. It led to the concept of the uninvited guest and the 13th guest, and how unlucky it was to have a dinner party with 13 people because of what happened to Balder, because Loki was quite a jerk. In my opinion, I shouldn't say that. But that's where it stems back in the Norse times. Now I know you have some interesting Wiccan
I do.
myths and things.
I was waving to people that are coming in. Okay. I thought we all got to kind of talk about certain 13 things. So I did want to talk to you about Wiccans and witches and pagans. I thought that would be really interesting. Probably to me, the biggest or most famous 13 would be how many people are in a group in a coven. And I want to tell you, in 1662, a Scottish witch called Isabel Godry said that she practiced magic in a group numbering 13. So there we started it, right? And the rumor being that she practiced with other witches and made a pact with the devil. There we go. There went our reputation. I do want to tell you that I've got a little trivia right now. Wicca is a religion that can be traced back to a certain time. So, anybody watching or anybody got a guess as to how far back Wicca is from? When did it start? Let's see. Anybody? I'm looking to see if anybody's going to put a number out there.
Um,
Do you guys have?
10th century.
Okay. How about you guys? Anything, Michelle, Brandi, Diana, Godswill? Do you have any idea when Wiccan started? Everybody's
Oh
Googling now.
man,
I have
I-
no clue.
knew back in high
Actually,
school.
actually, no. I take that back because it happened in BC. It was
Okay.
before Christ.
Okay.
Really?
I am going to tell you that Wicca and the term Wiccan started in at the old a year of 1950.
Oh my God!
I got you guys, didn't I?
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, what they did is there was this guy that decided that he was going to form this way of living, this religion, and he went back to pre-Christian and got the rituals and all of that, and that's why. And so he did get the religion and he got the practices and everything, but he termed it the name Wicca and Wiccan in 1950. So actually, it is sanctioned right now. One of our viewers said in the UK as an actual religion. So I go step in the right area. Diana says 1954, which happens to be your year I was born. So that's a coincidence, isn't it? I came in with it, right?
Speaking of years born, we have a person who's turning 66 today. In
Yes.
our comments.
Oh,
I was just
So
going
happy
to say,
birthday to them.
Oh,
happy birthday, Diana's mom.
happy birthday.
Everybody say, I just posted 1954. That was okay, so there is a difference between Wiccan and witch and pagan, by the way. People think that it's all the same, and it isn't. But I want to tell you that for sure, Wicca is not any part of connection to devil worship or Satan because their practices came before Christianity and the even notion of hell, So, everybody has just rumors and superstitions and everything have built up these reputations with these groups. Okay, so I want to talk about, I'm going down to the number 12. Off topic. 12 is everywhere. You go look at the Bible, look at everywhere, 12 everything, right? But when we go to 13, actually in China, it's good fortune. It's not bad luck. Now, I want to give you a tip. If you're going to do a ritual and you want money to come in, please put 989898. More big money, and that's what the Chinese do. And so try to buy a car there that has a license plate that says that in it. You won't be able to pay for it. It'd be way too much money. So they're very superstitious. And there is, I'm going to tell you, Coast to Coast has a commercial for a company, and they say text 989898, and I go, does everybody know what this is? That's their lucky number that their text number is. So we have that in Italy. Friday the 17th is the bad luck Friday. So 13, also we can go back. revolutions that the moon does around in a year around us. So all kinds of good 13 things. In ancient Israel, 13 was a sanctified number. 13 years of age was the initiation into adulthood in the Jewish groups. And tabernacles, 13 items were decreed and necessary for tabernacles. And the Egyptians believed that life had 13 stages. And the last one was that really good one of transitioning to eternal life. So 13 actually was a lucky number.
Yeah.
But we do like to have fun with it, don't we? You know,
Oh, yeah.
that don't go under that ladder. Don't break that mirror. So I thought I would teach you guys something, and it would be a protection spell. So a little bit about Wiccan. You guys can make spells. I do it all the time, but I'm what's called a soul practitioner. So any of the groups, the Pagans, the Wiccans, the Wiccan, they can all don't have to be in a group of 13 or anything like that. You can practice by yourself, and that way you can kind of blend the lines a little bit and work on different little things that you want. So let's do a Friday the 13th spell, and I'm going to tell you what you need. You don't have to write it down because you just watch the show again, okay? You need an airtight jar with a lid, so you can twist it really good. And, okay, who out there can collect rainwater at the waning moon? You don't have to. You can use tap water. So you need some tap water. And either the aluminum or silver colored nails or silver colored thumbtacks. And this represents protection. Anything like a thorn on a rose stem, all those things are protective. Okay. So this will represent that. Sunflowers or violets are really good to have. We need some leaves off of them. Fresh basil, fresh mint, and some cinnamon. We also need some ground. You can also, you get a mortar and you can ground things that way. Okay. That's how I make my magic candles. So paper and a marker. And the last thing in which I always use is a candle. So dark blue or black. All right. So what I want you to do, if you have an intention for protection, now you can do spells for all kinds of things, but this is going to be for protection. Do you want to protect your money, your home, your heart, whatever it is? Write it down on that paper. As a Wiccan, we love to burn things, but this time we're going to flood them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put it at the bottom of the jar, and then on top go your nails or your thumbtacks. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and tear up the basil leaves, and we're going to mix it with the cinnamon. Mix it up, and then we're going to put that in the jar. You can sprinkle it in the jar, and then we're going to take the petals off the sunflowers or the violets, and we're going to put that next into the jar. And the last thing you're going to do is take your rainwater or your tap water, and you're going to put it into the jar, imagine it flooding away negativity and any harm. Okay, that's your intention. That's the magic. And then you're going to seal it. So what we're going to do is put that airtight lid on, light that candle and drip it on the top and seal that together. We do that a lot in our spells. We make sure that it seals that lid onto the jar, and then it's ready to place in your home. A lot of times they'll tell you to carry it around all day, but you don't have to. Okay, place it somewhere in the home to protect your house from or whatever you ask for. That's that message in the bottom of the jar will protect that and keep it safe. So anyway, I hope that was a little spooky for you, that you can do a little magic, do a little spell. And so anyway, the deal is that it really isn't unlucky, but it's fun to play spooky stuff. And it's like a little extra holiday that we have. Yeah. That we can dabble a little bit. So that is what I have for you guys. And we're going to go to Brandi next.
Yes. So what I have for you all today is 13 times that unlucky things have happened on a Friday the 13th. So I'm going against your lucky theory here, Debbie. I'm sorry. All right. So the
It happens.
earliest record of a misfortune landing on a Friday the 13th was October 13th, 1307. And this is when French King Philip IV arrested and tortured hundreds of Knights Templars of the Temple of Solomon for accusations of blasphemy and homosexuality. That is the first recorded, as far as we know, first recorded. And then it goes to the Black Friday fires in Australia. And these were bushfires. It wasn't like a Black Friday sale, guys. On January 13th, 1939, the brush fires killed 36 people in the Victoria province. During the Blitz attacks of World War II, the Nazis dropped 5 bombs on Buckingham Palace on September 13th, 1940. Continuing on with the Friday the 13th, of course, we have the mysterious disappearance of a Swedish military plane with a crew of 8, and it disappeared on June 13th, 1952. This became known as the Catalina Affair because 2 Catalina planes went to search for the original plane and were later shot down by the Soviet Air Force.
Ooh.
Yes.
They admitted to shooting them down too. Or they admitted to shooting down the original Swedish military plane. So it's assumed they shot down the other 2. Now we're going to move to a little bit closer to where some of us have been alive. The New York City murder of Kitty Genovese. That made a psychology textbook infamy because this woman, and I feel so bad for her, she was murdered by a complete stranger, and it was witnessed by 38 people or more, and nobody intervened. No one called cops, no one tried to save her, nothing. And that was on March 13th of 1964. The stranger's name was Winston Moseley. So, another one is one of the worst natural disasters in history was on November 13th, 1970, when a cyclone hit Bangladesh, killing thousands of people.
Oh.
Now we're going to go to 1972, October 13th again. This is kind of common, October 13th. Maybe it should be October 13th battle, not Friday the 13th. A plane carrying a rugby team crashed into an Andes mountaintop. Some died upon impact, of course. Others were killed by weather conditions and, injuries later on and exposure. But there's the rumor, and I think it's been proven that there was cannibalism. That's how the rest lived. But 16 actually survived that whole wreck. And a movie and book was made about it called Alive, if you want to look at it or watch it.
Oh, I saw that.
Yep.
I was
Go ahead.
I was a senior in high school when that happened.
I remember studying about it not because school wise, just because I watch a lot of things like that. I'm weird. On the same day, though, the same October 13th, 1972, a plane in Moscow crashed, and it killed 174 people that was on board. So there was 2 incidents on that one day. We go back to another October the 13th, 1989. This was not a good day for the stock exchange. You had a mini crash, and that was the second worst stock market crash in American history.
Wow.
And January 13th of 1989, so earlier that year, they had a widespread computer crash on Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a virus that infected hundreds of IBM computers in England. So tons of files lost, and there's people were afraid of new threats on new technology, and brought it kind of to the highlight to start protecting your stuff on stat. Now this is one that a lot of people are familiar with. September 13th, 1996. We lost Tupac Shakur. He was shot multiple times, and his murder is still unsolved. It's a big conspiracy theory, and there's people who still swear that he's alive too. He's kind of like Elvis Presley. People still see him. Another one that I don't have a name for the person, I just have details. It was a boy that was struck by lightning in England on August 13th, 2010, at the time of 1:13 in the afternoon. And if you know military time, that's 13:13 for your time. And he was 13 years old at the time.
Wow.
Bunch of 13s there.
Yes.
And my final one for you all was the largest passenger ship wreck was on January 13th, 2012, where more than 30 passengers on board died. And it was off the Italian coast called the Costa Concordia.
Oh.
Wow.
So there is 13 unlucky things that have happened on a Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I'd say they were pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh my
October 13th,
gosh.
Very common. So apparently when Friday the 13th lands in October, that's when it's really unlucky.
Oh gosh. Everybody get out your calendar. This is
And I
not
actually have
good.
something to add to October the 13th. That was a Friday. That is the day my grandpa passed away. It was October the 13th, and it was a Friday. Of course, that was many years ago. Many years ago. So yeah, something about October 13th.
Hey, we have to make some protection spells. Everybody get your jars out.
Yeah,
Not
especially
good.
when it's October 13th.
I have
The big
funny
jar.
I had completely forgotten about this, but guys, did you know, or let me do this. What year did Congress try to change the calendar to have 13 months?
I have no idea.
Let's get that trivia.
This is
Yeah,
a
no-
Cara question.
And
This is what we ask you.
and the bonus is what was the month supposed to be called and where was it supposed to be placed? Anybody? No?
No.
Cara, this is why we come to you. You know these facts.
Yes.
1922. 100 years ago this year, they tried to make it a 13-month year, with the month being placed between February and March, and the name would have been called Vern.
Vern?
Oh.
V-E-R-N. Vern.
Burn. Oh my
And
god.
why? For what
Is
Yeah.
that the equinox?
They
Ish?
that's why they wanted to name it
Vernal?
because it would have taken my first day of spring birthday away. But it was because there are 13 months in the year technically. When you add up the number of weeks, there are 13. And they wanted to make it 13 months instead of just 12 months and having some with 5 weeks and some with 4. So they wanted to do this thing, and it actually went before committee in 1928 before it was finally, squashed and said, okay, you're a nut job.
Well, we might have really been screwed if we would have done that. If you guys, if we're going to take that as unlucky, that'd be really bad. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Well, I'm glad that didn't go through.
Yeah,
Really?
Right.
I know, very weird. Now, Michelle
Yes.
and I are going to be talking about the Friday the 13th movies, and Michelle just watched part 1 for the millionth time recently.
And
So,
2.
And so Michelle is going to start talking about 1 and 2 and the mythology between the two of them. And then we'll get into our Jason obsession as children. You go for it, Michelle.
The mythology between the two.
His, because he was like just thought to be a myth or whatever, that he was dead. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it all started in 1980 with the first one. I think it was, I don't know, it's just a classic. I don't think anyone planned on, I think everyone was waiting to see Jason at the end. And some may have loved the ending, some may not have loved the ending, with his mom being the killer. But it's a classic, and I think it's going to just, stay around till the end of time. What did you think about that? The very first one.
I loved it because his mother was just so, he must have been a mama's boy in life because she was just so obsessed. A mother's love has never gone this far. Some of the kills that she did, if you smoked pot, you died. If you had sex, you died. And and some of the kills were just, Kevin Bacon was in it. Kevin Bacon got his start getting an arrow through his neck while he was smoking a joint.
That was such a cool part in this movie, though.
That was my favorite kill.
Yeah.
His kill
Yeah,
was-
if you had any sort of fun, you were pretty much dead.
exactly.
I do not get to comment on anything because maybe I'm the only one in the world has never seen any of those movies.
What?
Oh,
You haven't?
No, you
None.
wait until I get you in person because you're going to sit and watch a marathon.
You haven't seen any of them, Deb?
She hasn't
None.
even seen Deb. She hasn't even
Oh
seen
my
Voorhees
God.
in part 5. I got to
Wow.
force her to do it. I'm going to send her a clip of Deborah Voorhees' death scene. That's what I'm going to do.
I tell you, when I watch these, and I just saw something on Facebook the other day for the anniversary of the first one.
Yes.
And I have to say, when you watch these, it's like a warm blanket. It takes you back to the 80s when everything was carefree and fun and easy. And who doesn't love camp? You know, I love the backdrop of it. I love the easiness of it and the fun that they all had. And then you go into the kills, and it's just all of them have just been such a great, I don't know, addition to movie history, you know? So, well, then you go into part 2, and it's been 5 years since they shut down Camp Crystal Lake. And you go into part 2 with a new set of counselors and a new set of kills. Only this time it's Jason. And he's pretty much going through the camp, avenging the death of his mother. So you can't help but feel there's a scene with Amy Steele where she really brings you into the character of Jason, because it's you don't think about him at all. You think about him as this 8-year-old boy in the first one who drowned. But in the second one, you get a little bit of a backstory on him, and you can't help but feel, even though he, you know, kills everyone with such brutality, you feel sorry for him, that he, you know, has grown up alone and saw the death of his mother and doesn't really have any sort of social skills, or just is completely and utterly just isolated from everyone and everything. So you have a little bit of a compassion for him, if you will. But
It's very much like hugging a nice little
a nice little what?
teddy bear.
Yeah. It's Jason
With
Bear.
a machete.
Jenna sleeps with her Jason Part 2 doll now. That's her best friend.
Really?
Oh my god!
Oh my goodness.
For her birthday, she's sleeping with it. It's got the hood and everything.
Don't you
Wow.
don't you have a granddaughter that wants to marry one of these killers?
Yes, that's Jenna. That crazy video of her saying that she's going to marry Michael and Jason. I said, well, wait, are you going to divorce one first? And she goes, no, I'm just going to marry Michael and Jason.
She can't decide.
Let them
between
battle
the
it
two.
out.
Yeah, and then she was talking about Michael being upset. She just had her birthday and she had a dinosaur cake because she's obsessed with dinosaurs. She thinks mommy and daddy are going to go to Jurassic Park and buy dino DNA to make her a brontosaurus. But she was talking, and I had to get it on video because she was just sitting there and she's saying, Jason's going to have a dinosaur cake like her, but Michael's going to have a Blue's Clues and he's going to be really upset. He's going to be mad. And I said, is he going to throw a temper tantrum? And she goes, yeah, he's going to kill Mia. Now, Mia is her little yapping chihuahua who weighs about 2 pounds. And she's like, yeah, he could be so mad. He's going to kill Mia.
Oh my god!
Oh, wow.
But she's like, but you know, she knows it's all make believe and everything. But as soon as she got her Jason Part 2 doll, she's holding him and rocking him. She's carrying around his little mommy's head that came with it.
No way.
Yeah,
It comes with the mommy head.
It came with a fire, and the separate flames. Then it came with the mask that what's his name? Ted used to scare everybody at the campfire when Paul was telling the story. It comes with the spear and the mask. It comes with the machete. It comes with a butcher knife. It comes with a pitchfork and something else. But it came with all these things, and plus her head. Comes with mommy's head.
Well, I'm going to have to pick this up because it's going to be a collector's item if it's not already.
Oh, yeah. You can get it. You can get it on Amazon, and sometimes Walmart will have them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to go shopping later tonight.
I paid like $30-some for it over a year ago, and she just got it this year.
Wow.
So But I wanted to say something about Adrienne King, who was the first final girl in part.
Yes.
She owns, and I've had the wine, it is amazing, Crystal Lake Winery out in Oregon. And she, as a matter of fact, she's having a Friday the 13th celebration.
Today, yeah.
Her winery. I could not go, but I wish I had been able to. But her wine is amazing, and her artwork, and she does do all of her art, and she does have some dark Jason things, and I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, she has the camp sign that you can buy, which would be so cool, a
Yes.
novelty for the house. So yeah,
I have a copy of her script, a limited edition copy autographed by her.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I have her original Friday the 13th script. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, when the first two, Jason is more humanized. He's wearing a sack on his head.
Mhm.
He's obviously stolen some oversized overalls from somebody's yard.
Right.
But when you get into part three, he is maniacal.
Yeah.
And they changed
so much more experienced.
Yes.
He's mastering his craft by 3.
Exactly. But he, part 3 takes place the very same, the next day, the next night from when he attacked Ginny and Paul and the rest of the gang.
Right.
He actually killed someone with a machete in a wheelchair in that one.
That I thought they could have done without. I was disappointed with that.
It was to make Jason seem really heartless, which it worked.
Yeah.
Because his scene, like in part 3, and spoiler alert, if you haven't seen these movies, I'm sorry, we're giving you some information that you're going to be like, oh, I got to watch for that. In part 3, he steals clothes. Now his makeup is changed differently. And for the first half of the movie, he does not have a mask, but it doesn't really show you him up front. It doesn't show his face where you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But he steals some clothes and he goes to this barn. He's kind of staying in this barn where this girl, Chris, and her friends are going to her family's, little retreat, her little lake house. And of course, he's one by one, he's killing people. He kills a group of a motorcycle gang of 3, which is, that's another one of the best kills. I love Foxy's kill where she's hanging suspended by the
pitchfork.
Yeah. Up in the pictures. That is a cool kill.
Yeah.
Another one is Paul's. Or wait, what's his name? No, yeah. Paul. Well, his name in real life is Paul. When he squeezes his head and his eye popped out.
Oh yeah. And
this was in 3D. And this 3D was revolutionary in 1982.
Yeah.
It was the top of the line, revolutionary, and it was amazing to see it in the theaters. Luckily, I have a 3D TV and a 3D DVD player, so I can put any of the Friday the 13th into 3D with the glasses. But this was wild. And the other thing about it was you saw him as a kind of just like he was almost sadistic. When he lifted his mask and Chris recognized his face and said it was you, he actually had a smirk on his face.
Yeah.
And now which was your favorite? Oh, Debbie's kill was really good too. That was the one, that's another spoiler. Debbie was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And she was laying in the hammock reading something and he went with the machete right through her.
Yeah.
That was the first time Jason actually killed a pregnant woman. I think it might be the only time he did. But yeah. Now, what is your favorite kill, and what part of that movie was what is there any comic relief you liked? You got to
the 3 gang members, they were funny. You couldn't help but love them too, but you couldn't wait for Jason to get them.
Yeah.
So those 3 kills were pretty awesome. But I love 3. I think it has to be my favorite, my first favorite. So I liked the feel of it, and I love that that's where he picks up his mask from Shelley.
Yes.
once he puts that on, it sets the tone for the remainder of the series, and it's just iconic.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's so cool. So, and it's so fun to watch. So yeah. Now this one was the very first time that someone switched the tables on him. And so Chris, at the very end, sorry guys, puts an axe through his mask, and he falls to the ground in the barn. So that's the very first time that you think, oh my God, is Jason dead? Did someone actually get the best of him? But no.
Do you know that was not the original ending? Here's a piece of
I heard that.
Here's a piece of trivia for you Friday the 13th fans. The original ending had her walking up the stairs after killing him in the barn. And when she opened the door, Jason was there without his mask, and he killed her. The reason they didn't use that is they didn't like the makeup. And even though that's one of my favorites, that's one of the ones I didn't like the makeup in at all.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like the makeup. It didn't follow through how he would have looked as a boy with the mongoloid head and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. He had a regular head and he just had weird teeth. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
But there's now part 4. Now I love the makeup in part 4.
I love part 4. Part 4 was done. It was great. Yeah.
Oh, loved it. Yes, I love it, and I love the way that it picked up. Same thing with part 2. Part 3 picked up that very night after Chris was rescued in the daytime and taken away by the police.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, when Jason is taken on the stretcher to the morgue,
mm-hmm.
you actually see family members of the victims.
Yes, in the hospital.
In the hospital, crying in a family room.
Yeah.
And that was wild. Now it was hilarious when the morgue guy and the nurse were Axel when Axel and her were freaking out, and Jason slapped his hand down, touched her leg, and that was not in the script. What he sat there and said, I can't repeat it because it's a lot of swear words. But if you go to that part at the beginning when he's taken to the morgue, that is the most hilarious thing. And the actor who played Axel came up with that. That was he just spouted that.
Totally ad lib.
Yeah, totally ad lib. The whole jumping Jesus Christmas, all of it. It was hilarious. But that one now, this is the first one that we have a child in too.
Yes, Corey Feldman, who it was great to see him in that. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to talk a little bit about your favorite moments in part 4?
Let's see. I love Crispin Glover. I think he really added some comedy to it, which was great. A little soften the mood a little bit. I'm trying to think back.
I have a trivia one for
help me out here.
I got a trivia one for this one too. Does anyone know why they didn't use the original music when Crispin Glover is doing his ridiculous dance? Do you know why they couldn't use the original music in the movie?
They didn't?
No, they switched it to that weird song that you hear, that crazy song on there. But no, that wasn't the original song that he was dancing to. And I can't remember. It's a heavy metal band he was dancing to. That was a popular band. Paramount was too cheap to buy the rights to the music to have it in there.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. So so his dancing, that's why his dancing was a little off from the music, because he was literally dancing to a heavy metal song that people would have actually instantly recognized.
Yeah.
And I remember the name of the song right now? No, I can't. I have a brain freeze there. But I love the fact that when his mask gets knocked off, his scar from the hatchet is actually in is in his face.
Yeah.
That makeup was one of the scariest.
They keep getting better and better with each one.
Yes,
Definitely.
I would say so. And originally, now, Tommy was originally supposed to be, and Corey Feldman was going to continue the role. However, he got the part of Goonies, and they wouldn't let him. The people who were doing Goonies would not let him film part 5. So the only thing he could do was film that beginning scene with the dream in the producer's backyard or the director's backyard.
Oh, I read that. Yeah.
That was the only scene that he could film because Goonies would not let him have the time, to schedule it in.
Schedule change, yeah.
Yeah. So he, unfortunately, someone else took over for him. Was it John Shepard, I think? I think the pastor too now. But that one has one of my dear friends in it, Deborah Voorhees. And I got a shout out to her. She's in Blairstown, New Jersey, at the original diner from part 1 tonight, doing her whole Friday the 13th weekend. And her movie is actually going to be shown there with the Friday the 13th movies, which is
I
awesome.
so wanted to get tickets to go to that this weekend. That sounded so much fun.
I know. I told her I'm going to hit the Comic-Cons probably later this year. I will meet her at one of those, and we can go out and drink and party and steal some of Adrian's wine. But but the fun thing about part 5 was the only time you saw Jason in this movie was in hallucinations from Tommy. And that was Tom Morga, who played Jason in part 5. Dick Wiccan played fake Jason. But the kills in that one too. I did not expect the kills with Deborah's character Tina and her boyfriend. Eddie. I did not expect those kills at all. Did you?
No, not at all. I didn't see that coming.
No, she's just laying there, and all of a sudden, bam, she's got a set of gardening shears taking her eyes out. And Eddie was really a shock because, he just stood up scared about what happened, and then all of a sudden, he's got a piece of leather wrapped around his head, and he's being squeezed to death by a tree, his head. Those were so iconic.
Yeah, he got more creative in part 5.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, he was also, the character, Dick Wiccan's character was actually, Roy was, it was almost like repeating Pamela Voorhees. He went there because his son Joey, he had given him up because he couldn't take care of him after his wife died when Joey was, and he was mentally handicapped.
Right.
So he was living in this group home, but Roy always knew where he was. He was right there, right outside of town, so he could see him anytime he wanted, passing, whatever. Right. Roy was a paramedic called there because one of the people at this mental youth camp hacked his son to pieces with an axe over a chocolate bar.
A chocolate bar. That really shocked me. I was very shocked when I saw that scene, and it happened so quickly and so soon into the movie. So I was like, oh, they're not messing around this time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I had a feeling as soon as when he was looking at his child, and then his partner was going, "Come on, Roy, get your hands dirty." And he looked up, and those eyes, I'm like, he's the killer. It's not going to be Tommy. It's going to be him. But
they make you think it's Tommy throughout the entire movie until the very end.
Exactly, because
they left you hanging.
They did, but this was another movie where they had a young man, a young teenager in it, and his name was Shavar Ross, and he was phenomenal. Running around with Melanie. Pam was her character name.
Right.
Running around with her, and she hit him. They hit him with a bulldozer and stuff, and he saved Pam. I don't know how many times from this fake Jason, and it was wild.
Yeah.
But part 5 was also supposed to continue. Part 6 was supposed to have Pam and Tommy in it. Melanie was supposed to be in part 6, and it was supposed to be a continuation of Tommy turning into Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And they scratched that idea, and they went back. I think it was because audiences didn't like the fake Jason thing.
Yeah.
So they went back they dug Jason up in part 6, let's say. He got the whole Frankenstein treatment.
Yes, he did. Electricity and all.
Yes. And that, oh my God. If you haven't seen the movie, Arnold Horshack is in it for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Until he gets his heart ripped out.
Yeah, but it was so funny. He comes up, he's going to try and save his friend Tommy, and he whacks Jason on the back of the head with this shovel that breaks. Jason just spins around, and within 2 seconds of spinning around, he has his heart in his hand. But Ron Palillo was so funny. He was the comic relief in part 6. I think part 6 is probably up there as one of my absolute favorites. Plus, I love C.J. Graham as Jason.
Yeah, he's a favorite.
But I loved every scene when how much did you laugh? Because I think I don't know if this was one we saw together or not, but I know we watched it many times together.
Mm-hmm.
The scene with the paint gun game.
Oh, yes, in the forest.
Yes. How hilarious was that?
That was, they did that very well.
Now, what was your favorite kill in part 6?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Well, think about you got the paintball ones, you got the remember the song Teenage Frankenstein playing in the camper?
I'm trying.
This one's hard because I know all the kills by heart in order, but
you do. It's amazing to me.
I am that twisted. I just am. I love the three paintballers being beheaded all at once.
Yeah.
And then the little dork behind them shooting with a paintball gun like that's gonna stop him. And then Jason stops and looks down and he's like, you just knew he was smirking under that mask. You just knew it.
Yeah.
But I love Court. Court got the best death I think ever. His girlfriend is being murdered in the camper while he's listening to Alice Cooper's Teenage Frankenstein on the radio. Mm-hmm. And he zoops it up really loud so he doesn't hear her get her face smashed through the camper. And then Jason comes out and, he's one of those stupid teenagers who's just driving la la la. I don't ever look in my rearview mirror because I'm stupid. And then right until Jason's right there with the knife and Jason pops it through his head, the camper goes on its side, starts on fire, and then all you do is see Jason pop the door open and stand on the camper.
He stands on top of the camper.
And just going like this while he's standing on the camper. That was amazing. I did love the father, Megan's father, the sheriff. He was trying to save his daughter. He heard his daughter calling for him, and he was hiding from Jason in the woods. Him and Jason had already had it out. Mm-hmm. And he jumped on Jason's back and and then knocked him down, was bashing him with a rock. And all Jason did was take him and just break his body in half.
In half, that's right. He folds over.
Yeah.
And he gave it his all.
He did. He died trying.
Definitely.
But now, Jason ending up in the lake, here's another trivia thing. There are 2 different lakes, one in Minnesota and one in Arizona, that have a replica of Jason Part 6 chained to the bottom of the lake.
Oh, I heard about that.
Actually go and dive down and take pictures with Jason. In the water. Yes. Now I know you love the psychic connection in Part 7.
In what?
In Part 7. I know
in
you
7.
love
Yes.
The telekinesis.
The telekinesis, yeah. New blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk about Tina and her little forte with.
So Tina used to go to this camp years ago when he was a kid, and she got into an argument with her father, and he was standing on the pier and she was in a boat, and she used her powers to rattle the pier beneath him, and he fell in the water, and the top of the pier collapsed on him and he died. And she carried that with her throughout her entire life. And I guess her mother realized that she needed some help, so she hired a therapist for her. And I guess she had been going to him for years, and he was studying her and keeping this going with her because he wanted to
Exploit it,
but also learn about her power and see how far she could go.
Yes.
So he brings her with her mother back to the camp years later. And of course, there's a new, there's a house there with a new group of kids who are there. And she's kind of like, odd woman out. But she befriends this young man there, and he invites her over, and she makes friends with everyone. But then on the side, this doctor, he's just trying to get her to come face to face with what happened with her dad, and bring her to the point where she is just so full of rage that brings out her telekinesis, her power.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he wants her to just stay there. He doesn't want her to get better.
No.
And so little by little, she sees these visions of Jason, and he's trying to say that she's crazy, but she's not. And so, he only later on, obviously, they realize that Jason is definitely real. Yeah. And one thing I love about this one is the introduction of Kane Hodder. I think he is the best Jason. He's played Jason the most times, and I don't think anyone really could possibly compare to him. So when I see that one and I see his movements, like he has these movements that you don't see with any other Jason. And one thing that he developed was his breathing. You never see Jason breathe. He's just solid and just inhuman. But he gave him this character where he just breathes really heavy, which adds to the fear. So I love the way he just moves, and he establishes himself as this character. That's the very first time that I really noticed Jason, really just fully embodied Jason. So she comes face to face with him, and they have the most amazing scenes together. I think they did a really great job with her. It's hard to show telekinesis in a movie. So I think they did that very well. And
she beat Jason down.
What?
She beat Jason down, let's just say.
She really fought hard with him. And it was nice to see them dueling together.
Yeah.
But one of the wonderful stunts in this scene is Kane is inflamed by fire. And it was a full burn. And we haven't seen that with Jason yet. So that was something that was really cool to see. One thing I didn't know about Kane until recently is that many years ago, when he was a stunt guy, he was trying to do a full burn, I guess, for the first time. And he had some lady there with him, and she was doing an interview. And it went horribly wrong. And he was completely burned from head to toe, horribly burned. He was in a ward for months. He was in extreme pain. And when I heard this about him, I couldn't help but feel so incredibly sorry for what he had gone through. It was such a sad, and he was such a young stunt guy at the time. Yeah. So he was worried that his entire career, possibly his life, would have been over. But he was transferred to another hospital. He would have healed a lot sooner had he done that, but they didn't know, I guess, the type of medical help that he needed, and that another facility was so much more prepared to help him with the burns that he had and the treatment that he needed. But he persevered. He got through it, and that was the very first time since then that he had done a full burn.
Yeah.
And they were very scared for
Yeah.
him. They were shocked that he even offered to do it.
Yeah, because he had a stunt double for the movie.
Yeah, and he really wanted to, I guess, face the fear and prove to himself that he could do it, and he did, and it was awesome. So that was the introduction of Kane Hodder, and then the stunts that he pulls in that movie was just phenomenal.
Yeah. Now
That was
Kane,
definitely my favorite out of all the Friday 13th is that
Yeah.
one. I love that one.
yeah. Now one of my least favorites, and it's probably because Paramount went all cheap on them. Jason Takes Manhattan was supposed to be all filmed, almost all in Manhattan. We got about 15 or 20 minutes of it filmed in Manhattan because Paramount pulled the plug on their budget. I also hated the ending because they made him toxic waste, turn him into a normal looking boy, which Jason never looked normal. He was a mongoloid.
Mhm.
But that is the introduction of Kane also refusing to kick a dog. They wanted to kick her dog, and he said, "No, I'm not." Jason would never kick a dog or hurt an animal. But in part 9, you get to see Kane out of his makeup because he plays 2 roles. He not only Jason, he plays the FBI agent, and then he calls himself a PU. You know what I mean,
Right?
and stuff. And then Jason also, kills Kane's FBI character. That one was a little weird because it really wasn't Jason doing the killing. It was Jason like launching some kind of primordial oozing like little creature from body to body until he could be reborn in his half sister, which was his father's daughter, Elias's daughter, which is probably because he left Pamela because she went back crap crazy.
That movie was a complete disappointment to me. I couldn't believe that that's where they went with it, because it starts off with a dark camp, and I thought, oh yes, the feel was wonderful. Dark camp. This woman goes to her cabin, and she's looking around, and she already, you could tell she's a little leery about her surroundings because she's alone. She's a woman.
Yeah.
And you have your wonderful camp background, and then all of a sudden it goes awry. She starts running. Jason's running after her, and it was great up until that point. And then I don't know where they thought they were going with this.
I totally agree.
They blew him up.
That was New Line Cinema's first Jason movie after they acquired the rights, and it was ridiculous.
Horrible.
It was absolute, and I didn't like the bubble-headed makeup on the back of his head either.
Yeah, the makeup was totally wrong.
I didn't like it. Now, I will say, people are going to say you're nuts, but Jason X, which is Friday 13th Part 10, I love that movie.
Don't even get me started.
I love it.
He cannot be taken away from camp. You can't put him in space.
But I love.
I like the upgrade he got.
Yes, Uber
upgrade.
I love Jason. Uber Jason was. And then he didn't even realize it, and he's like, "Wait, I didn't feel that." And then he goes after, and then when he was fighting the KM, the animatronic robot, whatever.
Yep.
I was laughing, and some of the kills in there were really good too. Mm-hmm. I loved a lot of the kills that he did, especially when they were doing the virtual reality.
Yeah.
And stuff, and they're like, pause play. He's not pausing. That was hilarious. And then once you leave Jason X, I also am not a fan. I am sorry to say, I'm not a fan of Freddy versus Jason. Jason was never afraid of water. Freddy was never afraid of fire. They flip-flopped it around, made Jason look like Herman Munster's grandmother with the Herman Munster boots and the granny shawl. I hated that movie. There were some really good kills in it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I hated the movie.
Now, see, Freddy versus Jason, I thought was kind of cool at the time. But Kane Hodder was supposed to play Jason.
Yes.
And they went with another actor.
And Kurtzinger.
Yes.
Yes.
Because for the longest time, he was wondering, why didn't I get it? He thought for sure he got it. He had a meeting. They talked about it. They gave him a script. He thought they were, everything was set to go. And then for some reason, they went with Kurtzinger. And for the longest time, he didn't know why. Until finally someone said, I think it was the director, Kurtzinger's taller by like 2 or 3 inches.
Actually, he's only taller by 1 inch.
Really?
One stinking
1 inch.
1 inch. And Ronnie Yu didn't want to change him out. The studio wanted a new Jason.
That's what he said. But I think that they gave him creative rights. And so I think it was up to him who he wanted. And he wanted the other guy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when Ken and Kane are very good friends. As a matter of fact, Ken Kurtzinger, have you ever seen in Jason Takes Manhattan when they're in the diner and the guy comes out?
He did a stunt for him.
He picks him up and throws him.
He also did a stunt for him in the alley.
Yes, he did. I
think that's what Wu was going by. That's the scene. That's actually the scene that caught his eye that gave him that part.
Yeah. But Ken was the diner cook who he just whipped and threw across the diner into the glass mirror. Like he was toilet paper or something. But I didn't like the makeup. I didn't like the outfits. The ending was kind of cool that Jason won, but then Freddy winked, his head winked. Mm-hmm. But I just didn't like, I didn't like anything about it. I didn't like the way, an inch difference. But Ken asked Kane before he took the role. They talked about it. He did not want his close friend to be upset. Mm-hmm. He was like, "You do it, man. If I'm not getting it, you do it."
Yeah.
But that leads us into the remake.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't like the remake. I dig that they took the first 4 movies and they incorporated it into the remake. I thought it was awesome. I loved the comedy in it. There were some comedy scenes. I loved, some of the death scenes were brutal.
Oh my God, the sleeping bag scene.
Oh,
where he hangs her over the tree limb.
And
that was hard to watch, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, he was shish bobbing over an open flame.
Yeah. Actually, the guy who got his foot caught in the bear trap. Actually, that one is in the same sequence where he runs right towards him and just gives him a machete to the head. So yeah, it was very brutal.
That one was very brutal, but I love the ending. Mm-hmm. I wish they had done more. We didn't get to see his face as much as I would have liked to have seen his face. Mm-hmm. But I think what we did see was pretty good. I'm upset that the lawsuits have stopped our movies. Now they keep going back and forth. If Steve Miner and Sean Cunningham would come to a dadgum agreement, we could be having a Friday the 13th rebirth like Halloween. And I'm sorry, Friday the 13th is my franchise. I love the Halloween movies, but there's something about Jason.
Yeah.
There's just something about his just total immortal brutality and just his the only thing that came back, it's like Pet Sematary. The only part of him that came back when he was resurrected was his will to kill.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what I saw recently that I thought was amazing? And I'm so glad. I think I saw this on the Sheer Horror group page. I saw Never Hike Alone. Have you seen that?
I have. I've seen all of the fan movies. I actually own some of them.
So well done. It was like a feature film.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was wonderfully done. And then Never Hike Alone 2. I loved the actors and the setting. And then there's another one that takes place with Jason during the winter.
yeah.
That was something to see too.
I'll tell you, the best thing that we have gotten from here is thanks to our lovely friend, Deborah Voorhees.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah wrote a love letter to the fans of Friday the 13th. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, you need to. It's called 13 Fanboy. It is not a Jason ripoff. It is not a fan film. She made a script taking the real life people who played in the movie and created fictionalized versions of themselves. Kane Hodder, CJ Graham, Judy Aronson, Tracy Savage, Dean Wallace, herself, she's in it. Lar Park Lincoln,
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. I mean, the movie
and Deborah Voorhees. She plays in it too.
As I said, Deborah Voorhees. But it's so amazing. The movie is a love letter to us, and I think that every Friday the 13th fan needs to
see it. Yeah,
they have to watch her movie because it does. It gives us a piece of each one of them. Kane Hodder does a scene. I'm not going to spoil it for you because, I really want you to watch it. By the way, it's on Showtime. It's on Amazon Prime. It is on Vudu. It is, please watch the movie. But Showtime just picked it up, which was amazing last week.
It went to number 2. It went to number 2.
On the Amazon.
It's doing so well. Every day it's just, picking up more
momentum.
Yeah. And you know what's so wonderful about that film? When I saw it for the first time, I think it was around Halloween last year.
Mm-hmm.
When you see the characters, you already know them. If you're a Friday the 13th fan, you know them. And it's so nice to see them again after so many years. And you just are rooting for them because they're playing themselves, and it was so nice to see them again.
We need to wind it up because we're past our time. But you guys can buy 13 Fanboy on Amazon also. But I've been talking to everybody, all the viewers, and I said I would show this. So this is Cara's book, The Shadows of Satan. Do you want to talk about it, Cara?
Yes. It's actually a little bit of supernatural, a little bit of revenge, a little bit of betrayal. It's got a little bit of everything in it. And it's about a woman who is in a gorgeous, almost lodge-like cabin up in the mountains. During a storm, the lights go out and she starts seeing things in the shadows. She doesn't know what's real and what's imagined. And neither do you, at least until towards the end. But it's really good because it gives you like this insight of how you may or may not react when you're trapped in the dark and what you may or may not see. So it's a really good. I loved writing it. It's like my baby. I absolutely loved writing it.
Well, congratulations. And this is for sale right now in hardcover. I think they can get it in Kindle and paperback. And I also know that if you get a hold of Cara, she will be able to autograph one and ship it to you.
Yeah.
So that's really special. Congratulations on that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's such a wonderful thing.
It's excellent.
Oh, and you are also been ranked pretty up there in Amazon rankings. So congratulations on that as well.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean for your book to pop up like that. When I was bringing it out of the slides, it just went. And I was like, not yet.
It was destined.
It was. But we do need to go because you guys, we're going to be getting ready for this great show tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So work that out to your time because you want to be there. Our wonderful guest, and it's Linda Benjaminson.
Benjaminson.
Okay. And she's coming all the way, beaming in from Norway to tell you all about the myths, the legends, the scary stories. And it's going to be really, it's so special. We have not done this before. And we're so excited to have somebody come in and tell us something. I don't know how many of you, except for Cara growing up with those stories, it's going to be fresh for me to hear all these great things. And I can't wait. So tomorrow, you guys tune in for that. Tell other people about it. It is on Psychic Fixes and the Dead Talk and our Ghost Stories channel, our page on Facebook. Share that on your page so other people know to tune in to that special show tomorrow. And it's time to say thank you to everybody. Michele, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for having me again. Fun.
Goodness, you are one of our experts now. Brandi, thank you so much for being on.
Not a problem. Sorry, I'm muted because my dogs are being stupid right now. They're going stupid.
They're adorable. Her dogs are adorable. See, they telling you. Okay, Cara, this has been a lot of fun. Oh my goodness.
I have awesome time.
Oh,
yeah, this was fun.
Oh, so much fun. So you guys, you learned anything from spells to very unlucky days to the Friday the 13th franchise and 13 Fanboy. Go pick that up. I have the DVD. I watched that one. Okay. And I pretty much had to because I had Deborah Voorhees on a show. And I didn't tell her till right before the show that I've never seen anything in the franchise. So
well, you know what? The night is still early for you there in
I
California.
think I'm okay.
You can start Friday the
okay.
13th, part 1.
I don't know. There's a gazillion of them, I guess. I don't even know how many. So a very successful series, and we do hope that they get back into filming after they work things out. All right, you guys, we're going to say goodbye. So everybody stay here after we end the broadcast. You guys, you're everything, our viewers. Thank you so much for watching and participating. I had a great time getting to know you in the chat. So we will see you tomorrow. Okay, so you guys don't forget tomorrow.